Today we're going to learn about the past simple tense. This tense is used to talk about actions that started and finished in the past. In other words, the action is complete and it is not happening now. The past simple is very common when we talk about yesterday, last week, last year, or another finished time in the past. First, let's look at when we use the past simple. We use it for actions that happened at a specific moment in the past. We often use time expressions such as yesterday, yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, last night, last week, last month, last year, before, on Monday, this morning, if the morning is finished. For example, I visited the castle yesterday, we watched a film last night, she studied English last year, they played football on Monday, I went to the library this morning. All of these actions are finished. Now let's talk about regular verbs in the past simple. Most English verbs are regular, and we form the past by adding ed to the verb. For example, fail failed, pass passed, work worked, cook cooked. We use the same verb form for all subjects. For example, I worked, you worked, he worked, she worked, we worked, they worked. As you can see, only the subject changes, not the verb form. There are also some spelling rules for regular verbs. If a verb already ends in e, we only add d. For example, save saved, move moved, live lived. If a verb ends in y after a consonant, we change the y to I and add ed. For example, cry cried, try tried, study studied. Another rule is when the verb ends in vowel plus consonant, we often double the last consonant before adding ed. For example, chat chatted, stop stopped, plan planned. However, many common verbs in English are irregular verbs, and they do not follow that ed pattern. Their past forms are different and must be learned individually. For example, begin began, break broke, bring brought, build built, catch caught, come came, cost cost, cut cut, forget forgot, get got. Other examples include grow grew, hit hit, keep kept, shut shut, spend spent, take took, teach taught, understand understood, win won, write wrote. Remember that with irregular verbs, the form changes but the structure of the sentence stays the same. For example, I wrote a letter, she took the bus, they built a bridge. Next, let's look at the negative form in the past simple. To make negative sentences we use did not, didn't, plus the base form of the verb. The structure is subject plus didn't plus verb. For example, I didn't play football yesterday, you didn't like the film we watched last night, she didn't listen to music yesterday, he didn't want to eat dinner yesterday. Notice that after didn't, we always use the base form of the verb, not the past form. For example, we say didn't play, not didn't played. Now let's talk about questions in the past simple. To form questions we use did at the beginning of the sentence. The structure is did plus subject plus base verb plus. For example, did you play football yesterday, did she listen to music yesterday, did he want dinner yesterday, did they cook dinner yesterday evening? As with negative sentences, the verb stays in the base form after did. When someone asks a past simple question, we often answer with short answers. For example, did you go to class yesterday? Yes, I did, no, I didn't. Another example, did she listen to music yesterday? Yes, she did, no, she didn't. And, did they cook dinner yesterday evening? Yes, they did, no, they didn't. These short answers are very common in conversations. We often use the past simple to talk about places in a town and activities in those places. For example, yesterday I went to the library, we visited the cathedral, they met in the town square, she walked across the bridge, he waited at the bus station, we watched a match at the stadium. These sentences combine past simple verbs with useful vocabulary about places in a city. Let's look at some useful town vocabulary. Common places include bus station, castle, cathedral, church, college, library, mosque, opera house, police station, post office, pub, sports center, square, stadium, apartment, bridge, building. Other useful words include entrance, exit, floor, first floor, fifth floor. These words help us describe locations and activities in a town. To summarize, the past simple tense is used to describe actions that started and finished in the past. Regular verbs usually add ed, while irregular verbs have special forms. We make negative sentences with didn't plus base verb, and questions with did plus subject plus base verb. The past simple is essential for talking about what happened yesterday, last week, or at another time in the past.